Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Bedford United Church this morning. We just had those beautiful, beautiful music there in our ears, and our hearts, and our minds from Tony. And we hope today brings you together in a spirit of love and joy, peace and hope. We're here on our fourth Sunday in Advent together, friends, and it's great to have you in all the ways that you're gathered, in all the places that you're gathered. Welcome to BUC. There's a couple of announcements that we do want to share today, being the last Sunday of Advent. Lots of folks are wondering, hey, what's going on, Matt, with worship? Well, there's lots, of course. So the one that I really want to let you know about right off the bat is December 21st, that's Monday, Reverend Katie Avon will be leading the longest night service. It'll be airing on Facebook Live at 7:30. And you know, Christmas at the best of times is not always full of shiny, happy things for lots of us. It can be a really challenging time, and especially so this year. So this is a service that really acknowledges that and lifts it up and supports one another in care and in prayer. So we hope to see you on December 21st at 7:30. Now, when it comes to Christmas Eve this year, we've got 3 services coming your way. Paige and Lauren and the gang have been hard at work in filming the Christmas pageant. Don't be afraid. It's going to air at 4 o'clock on Facebook Live. And a reminder, we're going to post these videos to YouTube as soon as we can, okay? So they'll be there as well. But if you want to get the drop right on the time, it'll be on Facebook Live at 4 o'clock. The kids have put so much work into this. It's been a monumental effort to pull this off. And I guarantee you, it will be holy chaos, as it should be. It will be awesome. So we hope to join you for that. At 7 o'clock, we were able to do a bit of a pivot this year with the new restrictions, and we're going to be able to have some folks in church who are registering now, especially people who've had a really, really difficult time this Christmas, or they can't get online, they can't connect that way with us. It's an opportunity for them to come and be in person, and we thank so many of you for saying, hey, that's okay, I'd love to be there. I know we can't have the whole congregation anyway. I can tune in. I've made plans to do that. It's going to be great. That'll be a service of music and celebration. We can't wait to lead that one for you. We'll have some retelling of the Christmas story through different eyes than the way that we're used to hearing it. So we hope you'll tune in for that one. And then at 10 o'clock, we've got candlelight and communion. And hey, this year you don't even have to leave the couch to come to the service. So we should all be able to gather for candlelight and communion this year. 10 o'clock, you'll see Reverend Katie, myself, and Tony leading that one on Facebook Live. And we invite people to embrace the idea, if you're comfortable, that you can gather in small groups in your home, right, of up to 10 people. So, you know, if you've got a few BUC friends you want to invite over to your house for that service and share, bring together the bread, the juice. We'll have an email all about that and a Facebook post coming out on Monday. Let's gather in little house churches right across the world. And let's celebrate communion on Christmas Eve together. We're going to invite people to take a little picture of your setup or all of you eating and sharing together. And we would love to post those on Facebook and to remember that in so many ways we are still standing together in this challenging time for many. Those are the big ones that I wanted to throw your way this time. I want to remind our very awesome Vespers following out there. Paige and I lead a Vesper service on Zoom at 8 o'clock on most Thursday nights. This week we are not meeting. We are out this week because of Christmas Eve and everything else. So we'll return the week after. So stay tuned for Vespers coming back. Now, this one I got to do. This is a wonderful announcement from our UCW here at BUC. We're going to hear from Jill Wilson, the president of UCW.
Season's greetings, BUC. My name is Jill Wilson, and I am the team lead for the UCW leadership team. 2020 has been a different year for all of us, but one thing that is not different and has not changed is the ongoing support from this congregation for all the endeavors of the UCW. Whether luncheons, pancake suppers, or games night activities, you support us. It is this support that has allowed us to continue our annual donation to the church. I am pleased to present the 2020 donation in the amount of $2,400. On behalf of all the 3 UCW units, I wish you all the peace, hope, love, and joy of the Christmas season.
Jill, I know that, like you had said, this is just such a different year. And normally we would have done this last week on a cantata Sunday. We're doing it this week on the Sunday of Love. And I just want to reflect back to the UCW on behalf of all of your siblings in Christ here at BUC, everybody who is this community. We so appreciate the love of the United Church women in this community, without which we would be very, very poor in spirit. The UCW's led the way in a lot of ways this year in finding new ways, right, to either support the church, whether it's through financial means, and this gift is tremendous. It means a lot to the operating budget of the church, the way that we're able to provide ministry to people, but also in ways that like not everybody hears about, the many, many things the UCW does behind the scenes to care for not only its members, but for people that are your neighbors who sit next to you in church. Lots of United Church women have touched people's lives in just incredible ways. I'm going to mention a couple of those actually on Sunday when you're hearing this in the sermon. Jill and I are recording this a little bit before. So I just want to say to all the United Church women, to Jill, we are so honored by your gift, and the Spirit in us honors the Spirit in you, and God bless you, and thank you so much for caring so much about our community. It's pretty awesome. It's a pretty amazing gift from the UCW today, friends. I hope you get a little hoot and a holler there at home. I think I could hear our heart goes out to them. Thank you so much, UCW, for all you do. We're going to turn things over, light our candles, and we're going to invite the Murphy family to do that. And this video comes with a warning. You're going to get overwhelmed with cuteness. It's just going to look out. It's coming hard from the Murphy family. Buckle into your seats. Let's take it over to Matt and Laura and their beautiful family to light the candle.
I'm doing music.
That makes my heart swell.
I make my heart smell. I dream of trees that makes my breath go away.
I dream of sunrises that wrap me in light.
I dream of family dinners that feel like home.
I dream of church services that give me hope.
I dream of love as the default.
So today, as we draw near to Christmas Day, we light the candle of love.
May this light burn bright as a reminder that God is here and God is love.
God is love.
We are not alone. Thanks be to God for a love like that.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Oh, Murphy family, I don't know. It's been a long time since we've seen all of you, and your kids have just grown so beautifully. Friends, they remind us in a precious way that all are welcome, all the time. No matter the season, no matter the condition the world is in, God is here all the time.
Hope shines as the solitary star. Faith is the inner light. You and I together mirror the light of lights and illumine the pathway home. Love shines as the solitary star. Faith is the inner light. You and I together mirror the light of lights and illumine the pathway home. Good morning, everyone. And good morning, everyone out there in internet land. I'm saying good morning to everyone at first, to the few we have here in the back and the one in the front. Today we have a special treat for you. I'm not actually going to be singing our little set of worship today. Peter Morehouse and Julie, they came to my house at different times this week and did a little recording. So they're going to provide the worship for you today. And the songs we have are Go Tell It on the Mountain, It Came Upon the Midnight Clear, and O Little Town of Bethlehem. So sing along and enjoy.
strife to hear the angels sing. For lo, the days are hastening on by prophets seen of old, when with the ever-circling years shall come the time foretold, when peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendors fling, and the whole world send back the song which now the angels sing.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie above thy deep and dreamless sleep. The silent stars go by, yet in thy dark streets shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. For Christ is born of Mary and gathered all above. While mortals sleep, the angels keep their watch of wandering love. O morning stars together proclaim the holy birth, and praises sing to God the King, and peace to all on earth. O holy child of Bethlehem, descend to us, we pray. Cast out our sin and enter in. Be born in us today. We hear the Christmas angels, the great glad tidings tell. Oh, come to us, abide with us, oh Lord Emmanuel.
Everyone, how amazing is that? Tony, that is just beautiful recording. Last year, a lot of us joked that Julie needs a Christmas album. Like, if we do one thing as a church, we need to get her a Christmas album. And many thanks to Peter Morehouse as well. It was so beautiful to hear your voices, and just amazing. Every day I pinch myself thinking of what these amazing people that you can't see on camera are doing at the AV table there in digital ministry, as well as Tony and everything that we're bringing together. It's just beautiful, friends. Brings a smile to my face, and I hope yours as well. We're going to send things back to Peter, our chair of council, who's going to share a prayer of illumination, and then Rita Stevens, the one and only, is going to deliver the gospel for us today. So we invite you to sit back and center yourself for prayer.
Good morning, Bedford United Church. My name is Peter Morehouse, and I have the honor of serving at this time as your chair of council. And I'd invite you to join me in prayer this morning. Now, this is a prayer of illumination. It's a prayer that seeks to open hearts and minds to the sacred stories of old so that their meaning would be made new and fresh again. Holy God, before you could speak, you were speaking, leaping in wombs, kicking, stretching, jumping for joy. You have always found a way to show up in our midst, particularly on our fearful or lonely days. So today, as we crack open our Bibles, fluttering through these old beloved pages, we ask that you would move again. Stir in us, speak to us, fill us with the Holy Spirit. And if we are not able to hear your word clearly, then give us Elizabeths who will point out your presence in delight and joy. Before you could speak, you were speaking. So here and now, Creator God, we are listening. Amen.
Today's reading is from Luke chapter 1, verses 26 to 45. 6 months later, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to a town of Galilee called Nazareth, to a young woman named Mary. She was engaged to a man named Joseph of the house of David. Upon arriving, the angel said to Mary, "Rejoice, highly favored one. God is with you. Blessed are you among women." Mary was deeply troubled by these words and wondered what the angel's greeting meant. The angel went on to say to her, "Don't be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God. You'll conceive and bear a son and give him the name Jesus, which means deliverance. His dignity will be great, and he will be called the only begotten of God. God will give Jesus the judgment seat of David, his ancestor, to rule over the house of Jacob forever, and his reign shall never end." Mary said to the angel, "How can this be, since I have never been with a man?" The angel answered her, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Hence the offspring to be born will be called the Holy One of God. Know too that Elizabeth, your kinswoman, has conceived a child in her old age. She who was thought to be infertile is now in her 6th month. Nothing is impossible with God." Mary said, "I am the servant of God. Let it be done to me as you say." With that, the angel left her. Within a few days, Mary set out and hurried to the hill country to a town of Judah, where she entered Zechariah's house and greeted Elizabeth. As soon as Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the child leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. In a loud voice he exclaimed, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. But why am I so favored that the mother of the Messiah should come to me? The moment your greeting reached my ears, the child in my womb leaped for joy. Blessed is she who believed that what our God said to her would be accomplished." This is the sacred story told to us and for all of time. May we be blessed and be a blessing to the world we share.
Alone by Reverend Sarah R. He never said to me, "I feel so alone." But I could tell every time we talked on the phone, for you can hear loneliness move through the line. It sounds like quiet, it feels like tired, but I never brought it up. I pretended we were fine, passing story like chess pieces until he would resign. And as I look back, if I could do it again, I'd get on a plane and I'd say to him, "You are made from nothing but love. Inside and out, you are more than enough. And if I could build you a home of beautiful things, I'd write all day and I'd sing and I'd pray, but I cannot build your home or make you love your own. All I can do is open my door and turn on the light, so if you walk by, you might stop inside. And if you did, there you would find the light is on, the table is set, the music is loud, the bed is soft, the food is warm, what's mine is yours. For no amount of space or time or grief or doubt or pain can subside the fact that I'm by your side. Love and I will always abide. I learned that from God. I learned that from you. Love doesn't go away. I'm here to stay. So like Mary and Elizabeth, this door is open. You didn't have to say you were lonely. I could hear it in your voice. It's a beautiful poem. As I was thinking this week, at Bedford United Church, we pride ourselves in creating a non-judgmental space where we can really say what we think and feel how we feel with each other. And I'm gonna put that to the test this morning. I got a little confession to make, and I'm hoping I'm not going to get too many Snickers here in church. We'll see what happens. Here's my confession. Are you ready for this? I don't know about you, but I am loving Hallmark Christmas movies right now, like with a deep passion. Who's with me? Who's with me out there in Facebook land? And Levo, yeah, I got some hands up in the AV booth. John is totally judging me right now. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see past his mask, but I know I'm getting the look. Yeah, Robert too. Yeah. But, there's something about these movies, right? They have these simple plot lines with just enough conflict so that it all gets resolved and everyone lives happily ever after in just under an hour and 30. Who wants a little more of that in their life right now? Simple, uncomplicated, everything gets resolved, everybody ends up being okay. I kind of love that right now. It's completely unrealistic, total fantasy, and sometimes we need that. Lorna and I, we were watching Christmas in Mississippi. Just mind-blowing titles, right? The other night. And, it follows the standard plot, right? Here are these two high school sweethearts who break up once they face post-secondary decision-making. They each split off. They go live their lives separately. And then, as the fates would have it, they're reunited one Christmas in their old small town, and what do you know? But they find true love. Again, right? One of the characters in this story is a photographer. And in this scene that really stuck with me, she finds herself in a local diner in her hometown with her former sweetheart who's still sweet on her, right? And their conversation is interrupted when she sees a wall of pictures. And these are her pictures, right? And they're framed and they're presented like a gallery so that every customer goes there is going to see these pictures. And she's so surprised. She had no idea her hometown did this for her. And she's dumbfounded about why they chose these pictures out of everything she's done. Now, these are pictures of neighbors holding each other when one is clearly in absolute agony. These are pictures of people serving food to lineups that zigzag around entire neighborhoods. These are pictures of a mother clutching her child as she makes her way down a ruined street, fiercely determined that nothing is going to stop her. And she asks her former sweetheart, why did they pick these pictures? And he says, the town put these pictures up so that we would never forget that when the hurricane took almost everything and everyone we loved, when we came face to face with how much hurt and pain there really is in the world, we remember that none of that could take away the good and all the love that remains in the world. At our worst moment, we wanted to never forget how we stood together when everything was crumbling apart. And these pictures remind us that that's who we are. We're family, we're community, we're neighbors, we're people that bring good things into the world. Who knew? Hallmark movies actually say meaningful things. That's almost a definition of church, right? Those who dream, they show up with love. Love that takes on the shape of a surprising solidarity with those who are hurting, with those who are isolated, with those who are quarantined by their guilt and shame. When everything is telling everyone to run away and take the first fire exit they can find from your life because they don't want to get burned by your wreckage, dreamers stand together in the tender of the worst of times. Because love is the tie that binds. A love that can't wash away all the trouble, all the pain, all the regret in the world. and yet nor can it be taken away. You know, to stand with one another is the choice of impossible hope. Even when it gets messy, even when we mess it up, even when what we hope for can't even be seen, people who dream show up with love, a love that surprises. Now, don't take it from a Hallmark movie, okay? Take it from Mary and Elizabeth, and they did not live a Hallmark life. Now, I bet Mary can't even recall a single thing the angel said to her. She is consumed by the fears of the oh no's in her life. I mean, oh no, she's too young. Oh no, she's pregnant before she's married. Oh no, she's going to end up alone. Joseph and her family aren't going to stand with her in this shame. Oh no, culturally speaking, she could be stoned to death for what she's chosen to do here. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I know I often get overwhelmed by the oh no's in my life right now. How about you? The good news is you're not alone. You never have been. Mary flees to Elizabeth's house. We forget that she doesn't skip along merrily on high. She's running scared. And what does she expect to find there? I mean, Elizabeth is the matriarch of her household. She's the senior. She's almost at the end of her life. She runs her house responsibly, successfully. And here comes the youngster who has messed up everything. I mean, culturally, her neighbors would expect Elizabeth to leave Mary out in the cold. She ought to be shunned. She ought to be punished. But that's not what Elizabeth does, is it? She surprises everyone. She surprises her neighbors. She surprises Mary. I think she surprises herself. She flings open the doors of her house and her heart, embracing her cousin in a love that is fierce and absolutely complete. And like, why is that? Because these two women are rebels and revolutionaries. They're dreamers. They don't follow the meek and mild script of being baby-making machines in the middle of a patriarchal empire. They're conceiving and creating God's dream of a future worth hoping for that's motivated simply by compassion. They demand respect for human dignity, and so they become the love that does justice. They birth it into the world. You know, Elizabeth is old. She's at the end of her life. And she's never met the bar of society's expectations. She's childless. So she has endured decades of shame and scorn. And now she's pregnant. But not to make amends for this supposed failure here, but to birth a possibility in John that's going to turn the tables over and set a new place so that everyone finally has a seat of the greatest worth. To every single one of Mary's oh no's, Elizabeth says, oh yes. Oh yes, Mary, we're going to have these babies together. Oh yes, we're not going to do this alone. Oh yes, with great joy and absolute love, we're going to stand together in the tender tinder of these dangerous times because you and I are dreamers. Those who dream show up with love. And they surprise with a solidarity that reminds us, even in the people you would least expect, even in an old lady who's supposed to be resigned to being worn out and dried up, new things, good things, God's things, impossible things grow. Now, don't take it from a Hallmark movie, don't take it from the Bible, take it from the United Church Women. I was talking to Jill Wilson, the president, just this past week, and Jill was just saying to me, Matt, I wish you could see, I'm just so blown away by what the UCW is doing for our church family, for their neighbors, for each other in this time. It's just her honor and delight. And she told me this story, and I'm not going to name this lady, but lots of the UCW know who I'm talking about, and so will she. There's a beloved lady in their circle who, you know, is older, and her daughter is not able to make it home for Christmas this year, and she's pretty disappointed about that, as lots of us are with the restrictions that are in place. So the UCW, they said to themselves, well, what can we do for her? We can't fly her daughter here, so how do we show up with love? And you know what they did? They sat down, and they recognized that this lady, she loves to go to the mailbox every day. There's always good news waiting for her. That's one of her favorite things to do. So they sat down, and they timed it so that she would get a Christmas card every single day in the month of December from someone in the United Church Women. Every time she goes to that mailbox, there is a surprise of a love that showed up today to remind her that in this day, in this age, and how we live, you're not alone. We're here right with you, and we love you. How amazing is that? You know, and there's so many ways, from making food to just surrounding people who have been grief-stricken, who have had major life changes. Reverend Katie and I, we've watched the UCW be like a bulwark of compassion and grace that has surrounded so many people right now. It's amazing, amazing. You know, when we talk about a love that surprises, I think about a family that Jennifer Johnson, our administrator, and myself, we work quite a bit with. You know, they're new Canadians. They got 4 kids. They're working jobs that do not return Hallmark money. And they have big dreams. They want their university degrees. You know, they want their kids to go to post-secondary. They're so excited about the future, even though every day they're skating on thin ice and they don't have much they can count on. And just so happened that this past week, we had someone from church who called and said, Matt, I'm thinking about it. I want to give somebody Christmas this year. If that's something under the tree or if that's food on the table, whatever's needed, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that for somebody. I don't need to know who it is. I just need to know what to do. And Jen and I were able to make that happen for that family. And I wish all of you could see the look on that father's face when he walked into the BUC office, just overwhelmed to know that he can count on having Christmas for his kids this year. That's a tremendous, tremendous gift that comes from genuine compassion. You know, I think of the parents that we have in the congregation, people of all ages, who have difficult lives right now. There's a lot going on for them. And yet, whenever they sit down to bake or to make a meal, they make just a little bit extra if they can. And they do that up and they send it our way to the church and we put it in the freezer. And like this past week, you know, Paige and Katie could just go and deliver food to houses. You know, we can't be everywhere all the time. We can't be with everyone all the time. We wish we could. But here's this small way that we can show up and say, we are thinking about you. We are trying to stand with you in this tender time. Just beautiful ministry. Paige and I, we run a weekly Vespers service, 8 o'clock on most Thursday nights, right? And we never know who's going to show up. It's a total surprise. That's what we love about it. And this past week, we had almost 30 people from 2 different countries, across 3 provinces, and from 2 different hospital rooms join us for Vespers. And we were surrounding each other with hope and peace and joy and love. We chose to show up in love, to stand together in the only way we know how. Tremendous blessing. If you can send a Christmas card, then you can show up with love, my friend. If you can share what you have so others have something they can count on, you can show up in love. If you can come with a heart full of compassion for your own sake and the sake of your neighbor, you can show up in love. And what the world needs now, what we need this Christmas, is love. A love that shows up as sweet and uncomplicated and holds complete disregard for all the reasons it shouldn't exist. A love that is prophetic and profound, boldly imagining a new world, right? And faithfully birthing it into being by choosing to make it so every single day. A love that shows up in children's pageants on Zoom and Vespers and graveside services in the middle of a pandemic loss, in meals on doorsteps and Christmas cards in the mailbox and Facebook messages and simple how do you do's, in bread broken and wine poured out behind mixing boards and computer screens that are reimagining what this all means. It's all motivated by a simple compassion that demands respect for human dignity. That's what becomes the love that does justice, the justice of God's kingdom. When we surprise people by showing up with love, we turn the corner by being in each other's corner. When we surprise people by showing up with love, we change the world. As Mary and Elizabeth remind us today, it's the only thing that ever has. So like great-grandmother Elizabeth and like Mother Mary, when God calls us to show up with love this Christmas, Bedford United Church, may our answer be this. So let it be. So let it be. And all the people said, Amen.
The song I'm going to sing for you this morning is called Here With Us. Originally, this was supposed to have a choir supporting me, And of course, restrictions came into play, and I don't have the choir with me. I wish you could have heard them when we were rehearsing this a few weeks ago. It was amazing. So I'm just going to do a simplified version for you today. When I was first hired for this position, I don't know if any other music leader has been hired during a pandemic in Bedford United Church or not, but it was not what I expected, and I had so many ideas and plans, and they've been stifled, and there's been moments it's been frustrating and difficult, but thank you for your support and kind words that you've spoken to me over the past 2 or 3 months. Can you believe it's already been, 3 months already? Yeah, it's still a blessing to be able to be doing what it is that I love to do, and it was 4 or 5 years in between having this sort of position, so this is an answer to prayer. So bear with me as I continue to create, and hopefully when this pandemic lightens up, you'll get to experience some of those plans, and we'll get lots of voices back in the building again. So yes, this is called Here With Us. It's a favorite of mine. And it's amazing how God, who we believe is so big and so massive, could become so small and come to our world and introduce us to unconditional and true love. It's still a mystery to me that the hands of God could be so small, how tiny fingers reaching in the night were the very hands that measured the sky. Hallelujah, hallelujah, heaven's love reaching down to heal the world. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Son of God, servant King, here with us, you're here with us. It's still a mystery to me how his infant eyes have seen the dawn of time, how his ears have heard an angel's symphony. Still Mary had to rock her Savior to sleep. Hallelujah, hallelujah, heaven's love reaching down to heal the world. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Son of God, servant King, here with us, you're here with us. It's still a mystery to me how the hands of God could be so small, how tiny fingers reaching in the night were the very hands that measured the sky. Hallelujah, hallelujah, heaven's love reaching down to heal this world. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Son of God, servant King, here with us. The Son of God, the servant King, here with us. He's here with us.
You know, what Tony said is so true, and I know he spoke from the unique position we've put him in during the pandemic of when he arrived with us. But I can say on behalf of Tony and all your staff team, like, we really need days like today to feel the Spirit move in the way it does, because we are exhausted just like you are. I know when I got up this morning, I was like, I don't even know if I can do this Sunday. I am just so phenomenally tired right now. And when I come to church and I walk in and I see these beautiful people, there's 4 of them right now today in the back on the AV table, and I can hear their laughter and I can hear Tony's music. My soul revives, right? And you find it. You have to dig deep some days. Man, do you dig deep some days. But you find it. And that peace, that hope, that joy, that love is there. And my God, my friends, you inspire all of us to keep doing what we're doing. And please share those stories of the way that you're trying to bring that love of presence, of care into your life, in your neighbors' lives. It's just so inspiring. There's a lot of ways that we give, and some of them are on the Facebook chat already. I'm seeing people swap stories. And Ann's going to help me do this. We just want to remind folks, because we continue to get these asks of like, so how do I give to the church? Okay, well, we need to let you know how to do that. So here's our landing page on the website, bedfordunited.com. You just click on Donate, and that will take you over to the next one. And here is our Canada Helps donation page. And friends, this is secure as any online transaction you've done this year, whether it be Amazon or a local retailer. Props for local retailers this year. We need to support Nova Scotia business. And it's super safe, right? It's as safe as it's going to get. And there's just a little bit of information that they always act like you would do anywhere that you're making a donation. Canada Helps charities right across Canada, have forever, super secure. You just fill in that amount there, and you keep going down the page. They'll look for email and a few other details, just like you would on any online retailer. And you come over and you can pick how you want to give and put in all of that. You can also make a dedication, and if you want to include one in memory of, in honor of, or have none at all, you can do that too. And then at the bottom there, you can say, listen, I don't want BUC to know anything about this, and we won't. Or you can say, hey, I would like them to know about it, or I'd like to support Canada Helps in your work, and you just hit complete donation now, and in it comes. We also, of course, have people giving by envelope. Thank you to everyone. I'm not going to say it enough. Some of you are sick of hearing it. Well, you're going to be sick of hearing it, because I can't say thank you enough to our envelope givers who continue to bring those to the office, get those to us. All of our PAR givers who give sustainably, consistently, no matter whether they're able to get to church or not. PAR is that commitment that is a little bit of whatever that you want to give every month that comes into the church through an online transaction, and that is huge. That sustains our ministry on the financial side of things. And I also just want to thank everyone who's chosen to make special gifts this year. We often have those at Christmas time. It is a very challenging time for all charities, all nonprofits. I just encourage you to think about all the organizations that are important to you. And I know, if you're like me, you wish you could just give it all to everyone. But think about what you can do this year. It'll make a huge difference to making sure all these communities that so sustain us and support us are healthy and vibrant on the other side of COVID-19. I want to thank everybody who gives their time and their talents, right? Because really, none of this is anything without it. And we are rich at Bedford United Church. So I invite you to join with me in prayer as we give thanks for all that has been given this week in the life of our community. Let's pray. In this impossible world, when the stranger comes calling on our doorstep with all their pain and fear, we are so often convinced that the cupboards of our hearts are bare, are not enough. The need is so great, and what we have seems so small. And yet Mary and Elizabeth remind us that part of living in an impossible world is to redefine what is possible, to remember that we too can stand together in a love that surprises. We too can welcome the weary world by rejoicing that sometimes it's enough to show up with love, a love born of the compassion we have in our hearts that seeks the simple respect of all human dignity. In all that we give of our time, our shared talents and skills, our financial means, may good news of great love be born in the choice to be community, to be family, to be church, for one another and for all those to come. May it be so. Amen. Thank you, friends. we're going to turn things over to the awesome Reverend Katie Avon, who's going to lead us in our prayers of community for today.
Good morning, Bedford United Church. I'm so glad you're here with us today on this fourth Sunday of Advent, the Sunday of Love. Please join me in our prayer of community. Loving and dreaming God, we pray that you would move between our poles, our depths, that you would flow and gather power between our heart's range of forgiveness and compassion. That every day we would say more and more those words that each person is longing to hear. I love you. This is your angel's message to Mary. This is what makes Elizabeth dance. And this is what you tell us in every instance that we draw breath. I love you. You have loved us so perfectly since our birth, and we give thanks for this holy gift in our lives. May we strive to love others more fully, and may we be ever thankful for the love of others, however messy and imperfect it may be. May we always know we have enough love. We pray for our families, for our chosen families, for this church family, and for the relationships of love that extend beyond family. May we remember that love is the bond that connects us to all things, most of all to you. We give thanks for the healing power of love, and we recognize that love's most fertile ground are the places of hurt. We pray for the 6 fishermen lost at sea this week. And we pray for those people and communities who love and grieve them. We remember especially those who are turned away from secure housing, from healthy food, from clean water, and from overdue justice. We pray that your love and our love is felt in the places and the people most in need today. And we name them into this holy time and place. For all of this, we lift up the name of your Son, Jesus, in whom all things are possible and in all things made whole. Amen.
Let's lift our voices and sing, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King, peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies, with the angelic host proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Christ by highest heaven adored, Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time, behold him come, offspring of a virgin's womb, veiled in pleased with us in flesh to dwell. Jesus, our Emmanuel. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heaven-born Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with healing in his wings. Mild he lays his glory by, born that we no more may die, born to raise us from the earth, born to give us second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Friends, I hope you can feel the love today that we're trying to just send out through the live stream to all of you and everywhere that you're gathered. A blessing as we get ready to go into the week that lies ahead, where we will celebrate Christmas Eve in so many ways. And a reminder, too, look forward to that service on the 21st, the longest night, with Reverend Katie Avon. They're at 7:30 on our Facebook Live service. Friends, a blessing. We believe that this world is hard. It's harder than it has to be. When the world falls apart around us, we believe in listening for the angels that say, "Don't be afraid." And in seeking out the Elizabeths in our lives, those who laugh with joy at our arrival and throw open the doors to their homes. We believe that healthy relationships can offer healing through the laughter of cousins, the joy shared between siblings, and the home found in partnership. Therefore, we believe in church families, in chosen families, and in the love that extends beyond family. We believe in friendships, in neighbors, and in leaning on each other when the going gets tough. We believe in the one who is both lover, beloved, and love itself, inherently relational, always connected, and never alone. We believe that that same belovedness exists for us. We believe that we are loved and claimed, never alone. Thanks be to God for a love like that. A love that dreamed us into being and calls us to take up that love and change everything. And all the people said, Amen.
I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul.